The Women's Self-Help Podcast is a place where women can go to find support, information and tools they need to take control of their own health. We discuss the needs of women so you can become your own self-help guru. From how to manage your stress, eating for effective weight loss, real talk on self-image, maintaining lifelong health and healthy aging, we cover it all.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Women's Self-Help Podcast. In this episode, I am joined by Tammi from the Milk Boutique. In this episode, we get into discussing how she got started with the Milk Boutique and some of the difficulties of being a new mum and the challenges surrounding running your own business as a new mum. We also talk about the most rewarding elements of being a female in business and the importance of having a tribe of mothers around you who support you on that journey. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. Today we are joined by Tammi, owner and founder of the Milk Boutique. The Milk Boutique offers modern maternity, high-quality breastfeeding and maternity wear at affordable costs for mums. So Tammi, just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background. How did you come to start the Milk Boutique?
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me on. So basically the Milk Boutique started when it was just an experience that I had from just being pregnant. And also while I was breastfeeding, I've always been quite fit. And, you know, during my pregnancy, towards the sort of the mid range of my pregnancy, I started to realize that I couldn't wear my normal activewear anymore. It obviously didn't fit and it wasn't comfortable. So I started literally just looking around for activewear that was suitable for pregnancy, like wireless designs and nursing friendly sports bras and whatever on the internet. And I just literally could not find a single thing out there. There was a couple of things, but they certainly didn't look very nice. And when I ordered them, they didn't feel very nice. They weren't very supportive. So it was just an idea that sparked in my head while I was pregnant. And I was just like, there is just a good opportunity here for me to look into later on. And it wasn't until after I gave birth to Ruby, obviously being a new mum, and I had so much on my plate and a lot going on, I couldn't get started straight away. So I didn't actually start the process of the Milk Boutique and getting it started until Ruby was about 6 months old. But yeah, basically that's just how it started for me. It was just an experience that I had and a realization that there was a huge lack of modern and functional nursing friendly activewear out there. So it just sort of started from there.
And did you have other friends or other girlfriends around you at the time that might have been pregnant that were kind of saying the same thing to you as well, that they weren't able to find anything?
Yeah, it wasn't until obviously I feel like once you get pregnant, you start to connect with obviously other mums and other pregnant women out there. And, you know, I joined a mums group as well. So none of this even came into my mind until I was actually pregnant. Before that, I wouldn't have even thought it. I never even heard of anyone complaining about it. It just wasn't the world I was living in yet. But it was literally the mums group that I was in at the time on Facebook, which is an amazing group. They were so supportive. They were literally my ears and soundboard basically for the idea that I had. And I just put up some posts and I was like, hey, like, are you guys having issues with finding activewear that's really nice, like while you're pregnant? Because they were all at the same stage of pregnancy as me. And they're like, yes. So it wasn't until I asked the question and put it out there did I then get the response back. And I was like, And, you know, once I started ordering samples and whatnot and showing them like what I was kind of thinking of designing and them supporting me and being like, yes, Tammi, you need to make this happen. That's when it, for me, was just like, yep, I need to do this. And they were just definitely the support behind it.
That must have been awesome knowing you had that support and that you'd have that behind you when you started up with your launch as well.
Oh, it was amazing. Like, to have them back me up and say, and just to tell me that I should definitely do it. And also, more importantly, having my partner as well, supporting me all the way. He's like an entrepreneur like me. It's amazing. We have that a great relationship in that sense where we, you know, if he's got an idea, I'm like, oh my gosh, do it. And if I've got an idea, it's like, yes, do it. So having him also support me and be with me from the get-go, from stage one, has just been amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so important, isn't it? Because obviously business is really a hard thing to start, especially your own business. It's a very difficult thing to do. So you definitely need that person behind you, backing you the whole way. And just when you're doubting yourself or you might be, you know, going through a bit of a tougher time in business, to have them there going, yeah, you can do it. Just keep going.
Oh, 100%. I've been running the Milk Boutique now for 15 months now. And the amount of times that I have gone to Jason and been like, I can't do this anymore. Like, it's too hard. And you know what? It is hard a lot of the time. Like, if I didn't have him to be there to say, Tammi, you do this once a month. Like, get through it. You know, I see you when you're succeeding and it's working and like you're just so happy. Like, you know, it's such a roller coaster. It's insane. And you need to have someone there to be able to push you and just keep you going.
Absolutely, yeah. It can be a really hard process at times, but also super, super rewarding, as you've just mentioned. So I know you said that it was because there was this lack of kind of for that demand out there of these maternity bras, but what else was most compelling for you to decide, yes, this is what I'm going to do? Because like we said, it's a really, really hard process. So it's one thing to have the idea and find the market for something like that. It's another thing to kind of take the leap of faith and actually do it.
Yeah, I guess for me, I've just always felt like I needed to find a passion or something that, like career-wise, that I felt really proud of and that I just needed to take on board and run with it myself. I have never really been the sort of person that can go to uni, study, you know, maybe become an accountant or whatever, and sort of climb the corporate ladder. And, you know, that's just not me. I have an issue, actually, to be real honest with you, with like following rules and doing things by other people's terms. I struggle with it really badly. And I succeed so much more, and I get a kick out of sort of doing my own thing on my own terms, how I want to do it. I want to learn my own lessons. And that's like, there's no other explanation for that apart from just running your own business. Like, that is how you run a business. You can do things on your own terms. You make your own mistakes. You've got no one to answer to apart from yourself. And there is downfalls to that, obviously, but the benefits of being a business owner are just so rewarding for me, and it just suits me and my lifestyle so much better than having to work for someone else. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, the solution's right there in front of you. I mean, I had a similar experience myself. It was sort of, you have these ideas or you have ways of thinking, and you go into like you say, the corporate world or another position, and you just get put into a box, or you get defined to a certain area that you may want to spread out further. And I completely agree with you in not wanting to follow rules. That's for sure. You have to make our own rules here.
That's it. That's exactly right. You've got to make your own rules up, and that's just exactly how I roll. And it just works. It just works for me. Not that there's anything wrong with, you know, climbing the corporate ladder. It's amazing. No. If you can do that and that's what you're passionate at and that's what you're good at, then like, yeah, go for it. But I just cannot picture me doing that at all. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, me either. I think you just got to find what suits you, and ultimately, if it's your passion, even through the hard times, it's worth putting that effort in, because it's what, like you say, when you get those good times and you're riding the wave of when things feel better or you see something succeed, and that nothing really beats that, for me anyway.
Oh, for sure. No, like, I swear my head grows so big. I'm like, yes, killing it, like so excited. It's just such a proud moment for me when things are going right, because the business is just like a representation of me. Like, I put my heart and soul into it, and it's just something that is just like, it's my baby. So when it's doing well, I am so proud and I'm like so happy. But then if anything like goes wrong, like the tiniest little thing, you know, one woman might want to have to exchange her bra because it doesn't quite fit her body type. I'm like, no, like I just, you know, take things really personally. And that's just something that I probably should have to work on, is being maybe overly too passionate about my business.
Yeah, I think that's a common struggle for a lot of women too, though. I have the same thing. If, one little thing goes wrong, a client cancels or something, falls out with something, and you just, you tend to go into that kind of, you can fall into that negative headspace a little when things go wrong because you're so passionate about something. And also balancing, like you said, it is you that forms your business. Whilst you've created this business and this other baby, so to speak, it is you that's created it, so it's a part of you. So how do you kind of manage that? Obviously, you've got to put some of yourself and your personality out there because that's what your product is. But kind of, how do you find that balance with that?
I think to get where I am, where I have so quickly, and I'm not saying like I'm like already up there, I'm like, just absolutely, winning at life. I'm not saying that, but my business has grown really quickly, really fast. And I just feel like the reason why it is growing so fast is because I have put myself out there a lot. And I've put my sort of face on my business because it is my business, and everything that comes out of it is from me. And I think for other mums to be able to connect with me as well, and not just be just another corporation or another business, it's actually you're buying from another mum who, is probably just as sleep deprived as you are, who is, having a good day or a bad day just like you. And, I always respond to emails, social media inquiries, anything I do to mums. I just come across in a real personal manner. And at the end of the day, I just want to be genuine. And I think that sort of comes out really well in the Milk Boutique to have my sort of personal life come out through it.
Yeah, it definitely comes across. And like you said, they've got that person to relate to, especially if they're a new mum. They're probably, like you said, just as sleep deprived and looking for that kind of person to go, yes, you understand, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just awesome.
And it's so crazy. My niche of customers, which is obviously mums, is really a whole new world to me in terms of marketing and stuff, because mums are so tight knit that if you please them and you make them so happy and you do a really good job, they will refer every other mum under the sun. And, they send me the nicest feedback ever. They're like, oh, you've done such a great job with maybe the product or the customer service. And if they're happy, they will refer everyone else. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is the nicest thing. So to have other mums back me is such a good feeling. It's also very scary because I feel like if I did ever something wrong, every mum would hear about it. So yeah, but no, so far so good. And I'm loving being able to work with other mums. It's amazing.
So what's some of then the most common kind of questions that either a new customer or even current customers kind of come to you with? Is it always in regards to the maternity bra specifically or other kind of active wear that they can wear during pregnancy?
Yeah, I think the sports bra has always been the most popular. I've started looking into doing other products and I will, but I do feel like the sports bra is definitely it's the product of demand. And I think that's simply just because people, mums will wear them, whether they're active or not. They are so comfortable and supportive that they wear them daily. So I think it's just always going to be the most popular choice. I think for the questions that I get come at me would have to be, I think a lot of mums have a hard time with sizing maybe because, when you're breastfeeding, your breast change so much. One day there'll be one cup size and the next hour, maybe 2 hours, it'll be completely different. And so they always come to me and say hey, this is my cup size, what would you recommend? And I love that they come to me and they ask me because I will spend the time to help you with whatever size I think that you should get. And it will save you having to exchange for a different size later on. And it helps me to be able to connect with other mums and just say, hey, sort of get to know you a little bit and then help you with your size. And the other question might be maybe just the support level, because every mum is probably in the same boat as I was when I was pregnant and I was looking for something supportive and that would be able to hold my boobs while I was running or whatever. So they always just want to say, hey, what is the support level of your bras? And so most of my bras are medium to high impact, and I am currently designing a high impact sports bra that'll be amazing for running, jumping, netball, and will be suitable for women with big butts. So yeah, I guess those two questions would have to be the main questions: is what size to get and how supportive are they when they get them, I would say.
That's great. And I think, as you mentioned too, obviously a woman's breast does change a lot throughout the pregnancy as well. And obviously after they've been pregnant, they might want to wear them, I suppose, for activities later on once they're finished breastfeeding, if, like you say, the breasts have changed from when they were before they were pregnant.
Yes, they're forever changing. And I have so many mums, and even I still wear my sports bras. I'm wearing one right now. I just think they're so comfortable. And yeah, you don't have to still be breastfeeding to wear them. There's plenty of mums out there that will continue to wear them later on because they just love them so much. And I've got a few friends that I've given some sports bras to who haven't even got kids yet, and they love wearing them too. So it's great.
That's awesome. So just describe then, so you mentioned it was about 5 months or so after Ruby was born before you actually got up and running with the whole process. So just describe a little bit of the process behind developing the first product.
Yeah, so basically once I decided I had the time to be able to, and also the energy to be able to put into starting the whole process of getting my first sports bra designs out there, was I just put my head down, bum up, got into the internet, started researching. I had a few connections that I was able to use as well as to what sort of fabrics I should be looking out for, because I had no idea. All I knew is, what sports bras I had liked and I found supportive. So I sort of looked at them and thought, okay, what fabrics are we using here? What are they doing to make them, supportive and the way that I like them? So I just started researching. I made plenty of mistakes to begin with. I had ordered horrible samples from manufacturers that I was like, oh my gosh, I would never sell that. And it took a few goes until I found the perfect sample. And I had 2 sports bra designs that I started out with. So once I found a manufacturer that also understood what I wanted exactly, and they were able to deliver it in quality as well, I wore them for a while. I washed them. I put them in the dryer. I just sort of tested them. And then once I found, I was like, yep, these are amazing. I sort of went forth and made a initial investment and got a whole bunch of them ordered in. I think I had ordered only 100 of each design to begin with, which for where I am now, for like how much I order now, I was like, oh my gosh. Back then, I thought 100 each was so much. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm investing so much. But yeah, it's all about investment and making sure that you invest in a product that you're happy with and that you will sell for a very long time. The product needs to last. Like it's, you can't just invest in poor quality because your business just won't thrive, that people won't like it. So I had to make sure it was right first.
And so did you start drawing or sketching up some designs while you were pregnant when the first idea came to you, or that whole process started as well after Ruby was born?
I think while I was pregnant, I just kind of got on Pinterest, just looked up different businesses, like kind of what they sold, what sort of designs they sell. And I was like, I started just getting ideas in my head. I never really sketched. I never really saved anything. I just sort of thought in my head, oh yeah, I kind of like those colors, or I like the way the back fits on those bras. Just to get an idea. It was literally while I was pregnant, just a thought in my head. Nothing really came from it. It wasn't until, Ruby was about 5 or 6 months where I started my really dodgy sketching. I think I still have the sketches somewhere. I can't draw very well, but I started sketching and I scanned them and I emailed them to manufacturers, and then they would send back a mock or a sketch that was on a software that looked way more professional than my dodgy sketch. And then I was like, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to get out from my head. Like that is perfect. So these days I have my own software now where I just design things on the computer. It looks way more professional and I can just let my ideas run wild. But back then I just literally got a pen and paper and started sketching.
And so where do you get your best ideas for new products from then?
I gotta say Pinterest is amazing. I've never really been a Pinterest girl until I started looking, for ideas and just, being able to create your own board. And I have different boards for different colors, like different different seasons of the year, what colors I love for like winter, what colors I love for summer. So yeah, if you're ever looking for ideas for designing anything, get on Pinterest. It is amazing. It's just endless.
It is. I know I've used it for a number of design things as well. It's awesome.
Amazing. Yes, it is. It's incredible. I love it.
And do you ever get any ideas from either friends or even just walking down a street and you might see, I know myself, I might be watching like a concert or a dance and I think I can change that move this way, or I can do something with that. Anything out and about that gives you ideas? Yes,
it's almost like slightly stalkerish. I think there was a time when I was at the Semaphore beach market and I was literally following a girl because I'm like, her tights are amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can definitely do something with that type of design, like how they fit. And if I see people out and I'm at the gym, I'm like, oh, that's a really nice top. I love that color. So before I would never even acknowledge what people wore. And now I just look at them and I'm like, oh my gosh, ideas everywhere. Awesome. So yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I do when I'm, another source of inspiration is obviously just being out and about and seeing what people wear for sure.
Yeah. And obviously having your own business, like we've both got our own businesses, and having your values is kind of why often you start things as well. And our values tend to show up in our work. So how do your values show up in the work that you do?
My values, I guess my values, when I think about my own personal values, is just being really friendly, honest, and relatable. And that's exactly how I come across in my business. I would never sell anything that I didn't love. And I guess that's just my honesty. And just to be able to be friendly and relatable to these other mums, it's exactly who I am. And, even if my business, which I probably shouldn't say if, I'll say when my business gets huge,
yes,
I will still make sure that when I have workers for me, that they are using my values every single day. I'm not sure if you've ever heard, but there is like some really amazing stores that have the best reputation. I think Lululemon, is one of them. I've heard of, like, you go into their store and they'll offer you a coffee, they'll offer you a drink. They'll literally just do anything for you when you walk into the store and you walk out feeling amazing. Like, even though I have an online store, I want the service to be just as great as the product as well. Like, if you've got an exchange, do it straight away. There's no delay. Inquiries, I'll respond straight away. So yeah, that's just my values coming out in the Milk Boutique that I think are really important.
Absolutely. That definitely comes across. And I don't know if you find as well, but I definitely find that it's, isn't it the best feeling when you may not have, obviously you've got lots and lots of love happening on social media as well, but when people do buy products from you and you do get those inquiries, people are liking you for you and your values and what you do. And it's like very freeing and very exciting because you're just being yourself and people are liking you being yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes it almost shocks them a little bit when I'm so like relatable and just personal. Like, for example, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I got an inquiry about a mum who had just given birth, and she said, "Hey, I've just given birth. Like, this is my size. What size do you think I would be in your size chart?" And I wrote back saying, "Oh my gosh, congratulations. Oh my God, well, did you have a girl? Did you have a boy?" And she was like, "Oh, like, I did not expect you to say that." I was like, "Of course, you've given birth to a child, as if I would not congratulate you." But yeah. I guess, like, some businesses are just so big and they just don't really have the time, I guess. If you've got an inquiry, they'll smash out with a reply, which is completely fine. But I just really like to be personal. And if you've given birth, I'm going to congratulate you on it. Like, it's just a huge thing. Like, it needs to be acknowledged.
Absolutely. And of course, that's why you started it all in the first place, is because you had the same concerns, issues, worries as these mums. You're one of them as well. So it's no surprise that that's what makes it so relatable. Yeah,
it's great. I love it. And I love to be able to shock them as well a little bit. I love that it's not expected. They just, I think they just appreciate it at the end of the day. Absolutely. As I would too, yeah.
Especially if they're a new mum and in that situation, it's super stressful, like you said, and having any support around, even in someone that's a stranger to them, is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And, I've had some mums that have purchased a sports bra while they were pregnant but didn't actually wear it until they gave birth, and they've emailed me and they're like, "Oh, I need to go down a size now because it's a little bit big. I never wore it though. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. If your tags are still on, like 100%, I'm not going to be like 7 days exactly, waste your money. I would hate to have wasted my money if I bought a sports bra and it no longer fit. I need to get a smaller size. Like, it's not a problem. It's fine." So I think that, it shouldn't have to be strictly terms about business all the time. Like, we're dealing with mums here. A lot of mums don't have the time to, have to exchange items or, whatever the case may be. There's not much time. We're time poor at the end of the day. So I fully acknowledge it.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point as well. Like, you've mentioned how these kind of bigger organizations don't have the time and to keep it that personal. And I think I got some really great advice when I started too, that the really big companies, often where they fail is not when things are going well, but is when things are going bad. And the ability to kind of give that extra personal attention. And like you say, don't ask questions and go out of your way to kind of relate to these mums in a way that's going to be helpful to them. Yeah. But that's what they're going to remember. They're going to say to, like you said, all the mums around them, "I had this issue and Tammi had no problems helping me out with it. And so go to her if you don't want to have any dramas."
Yeah, that's it. Like, I never want anyone to walk away with a bad feeling in the, in the gut or whatever from an experience from the Milk Boutique ever. So I'll probably go out of my way, probably a little too far out of my way to make sure you're happy. It's maybe even a downfall for me, maybe.
How did you come up with the name as well?
Oh, I don't know. I had a whole bunch of ideas, actually. I think one of them was even like, I think it was like Lovely Lady Lumps. And my friend was like, "No, let's not call them lumps. They're not lumps." And I'm like, I think I had all these horrible ideas. And then I really loved milk. And I just tried to figure out the best way to incorporate milk in there. And I just came up with Milk Boutique. And then I asked the mums group that I was in at the time. And they were like, "Oh yes, amazing." And they all kind of agreed on it and they loved it. And I was like, "Yeah, that's happening." And I still get compliments on it now. I'm still really happy with it. So I'm glad I waited and didn't call it Lovely Lady Lumps.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it too. And you've got a really good abbreviation with it as well.
TMB?
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love how, it just kind of worked out that way. So people are now referring it to as TMB, a little bit easier to remember as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've spoken a little bit about this, and everyone can see that you're such a huge inspiration for so many mums out there. And and the process that happens once you've given birth as well. And so,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, absolutely. What would you say? So I'm sure there's a lot of mums that might be thinking, or they might be worried about going back to work after having a child. What are the positives in terms of running your own business compared to, say, having to go back and work for someone? What do you think are the positives that make being a mum a little easier, being able to run your own business?
Oh, it's definitely not easy, especially if you're starting a business, because there's just so much energy you have to put into it.
Yeah.
So, I guess with, even going back to work and working for someone else, it's going to be good and bad. Everything's going to have its pros and its cons. But I love just to be able to be flexible and be able to work whenever I need to work and just manage my own time. I don't have to worry about whether Ruby's waking up sick, calling in sick to work and being worried about, oh my gosh, is my job on the line? It's never going to be a concern for me. So I love that. I love, if Ruby needs my attention, I can give it to her, even if that means that I have to stay up until midnight working, which can be one of the cons. But yeah, I just love the flexibility of it. And I guess that if you're looking to start a business when you've got a baby, just acknowledge that, it might be tough and it will be hard to begin with. But if you I like to look at things long term. So, and I'm already sort of at that stage where the investment of time and energy that I put in, however many months ago when I started, about 15 months ago, has really paid off now, because I've got a really good set routine in place, and it just runs really well now. But at the start, it was definitely energy and hard work. So yeah, it's just thinking about the long term of it.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a really important part there as well, in having that support of your partner around you. I think that's really, really, well, not a partner as well, just family and friends and everyone around you to support you when it is tough in those initial stages, I guess, as well.
I could not have done it without him, and like all of my family as well, but specifically Jason, he's been great. He listens to me whinge a lot. It's amazing. Yeah, and he definitely helps out with Ruby when I need him to. Even last night I got him to do the bath, because I was like, oh my gosh, Jason, because I'm currently doing a collaboration with someone on social media and we're designing a sports bra together. And I am just so many ideas are running through my head at the moment with the conversation I'm having with her. And so last night I even said to Jason, can you please give Ruby a bath? I have to get on my software on my computer and I need to draw this out before I sort of lose it. And he's like, yeah, no worries. So just to have him there and to help with Ruby is amazing. I appreciate him and his time so much. It's great.
Yeah, I know. I'm exactly the same. I have to have Post-it notes everywhere. I have to have the idea comes to me. I'm out and about writing notes on my phone because I'm thinking this idea is going to go any second now.
Yeah, that's it. And I think on my notes app on my phone, on my iPhone, it's just filled. Literally one of my jobs is to go through it and actually extract the ideas out of my phone and put them somewhere, because they're just sitting in my phone. But you definitely have to write it down as you go for sure.
I know, absolutely. I just get them and I think it's going to happen.
It's best to write them down before you lose it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's just talk about some more about then the support and resources that you have around you. Because I see the work that you're doing, and I don't know how you do it having a small child, because I feel some days overwhelmed with the busyness of it, and I don't have a child myself. So what support and resources do you have in terms of either other people you've got helping you with the business, or people able to help with kind of childcare with Ruby around you in terms of a daily basis to get the work done?
Yeah, I guess she does go to childcare, and oh my gosh, it's a lifesaver. She loves it there, which is amazing. I'm just really appreciative that I found a place straight away that she actually likes going to. She's connected with one of the carers a lot. And also Jason's mum is the cook at the childcare as well. So she gets to spend a lot of time with Ruby at childcare while she's working. So it kind of works out really well in that instance. And just being able to, I have quite a big house, and I've been able to delegate a huge room for my office. So to be able to have that space, you really do need to have the space. I just can't imagine having to work in a small space with clutter. You need to have a nice, open, clean space to be able to work comfortably and happy. So I really love that I have this little Zen office that I can go into, and I absolutely love my MacBook. It's my baby.
Yes, me too. Goes everywhere.
Everything is on there. Love it. Yeah. So I love that I have access to a laptop and internet, and just yeah.
So what does a regular day look like for you then, or is it very varied depending on what days Ruby's at childcare and what you've got on in terms of projects and stuff?
Oh, every day is so, so different. But she goes to childcare 2.5 days a week. So in those 2.5 days, I am 100% doing the milk boutique. And it can be the one thing that I sort of struggle with a little bit is the fact that my office is in my house. I sometimes feel like I want to do other things around the house. It's hard to separate the whole work, housewife kind of balance. So when Ruby is in childcare, I always need to remind myself that this is actually working time. It's not time for me to do anything else. It's not time for me to go and hang out on the couch or go hang out with friends. I mean, sometimes I might, because sometimes I might need a break, but I need to make sure that time is working time. But apart from that, when Ruby is home with me, I usually get all of my work done really early in the mornings while she's still asleep, in the afternoon while she's still having her day nap, or really late at night while she's asleep. So basically anytime she's sleeping. When she's awake, I'm in mum mode and we're off to the playground or food shopping or whatever else. But yeah, it's just working around her basically all the time.
Yeah, I suppose it's easier now when they're alone, they're sleeping more, but might become more challenging, I guess, as they start to get older and bigger and not sleeping so much.
Yeah, I'm kind of dreading her dropping the day nap at lunchtime. I'm scared. It'll mean that I lose like a couple of hours in the day. So things may have to change, but that's just being a mum. Like it's constantly adapting.
Yeah.
I'll have to work out something else when that happens, and I'm sure it'll work out just fine. It just means sometimes I've got to stay up late and work, and it's just what comes with it. But I think it's just really important that you need to be able to love your business and actually be passionate about it, because I can't even imagine staying up late till midnight or 1 a.m. working if I hated it. I love it. Most of the time I look forward to it. So, and I lose track of the time. So it's definitely an important factor when you're running your own business.
Yeah, absolutely. I find too, even when you're tired, you've got that energy to push through because you love what you're doing. And, there's always the talk about the work-life balance and all those kind of things. But I often say to people, what's a better work-life balance? Working 5 days a week in a job that you hate and then trying to do as much as you can with friends and people on the weekend to kind of make up for it, or working 7 days with something that you love that doesn't feel like work?
That's exactly right. It's just a matter of finding what it is that you want to do. And then after a while, definitely there's days where I feel, and I'm sure you would be as well, there's definitely days where you don't have any energy and really don't want to do anything. No matter how passionate you are about it, there's days where you're just going to be like, I really can't be bothered. And so some days can be hard, but majority of the time, having to stay up late or get up really early in the morning isn't really an issue because I usually enjoy it most of the time.
Yeah, of course, I have those days too. I think with those ones, I've learned that sometimes you have to be kind to yourself and go like, I'm just going to have the night off. I'm going to go, like you mentioned, to the park with your daughter or hang out with friends, and then just make the commitment to come back the next day and really focus harder, I guess, the next time. Yeah,
you really do have to be kind to yourself, and it is really easy to overwork yourself as well, because when you have your own business, you know that like time is basically time that you could be spent doing anything for your business.
Exactly.
So, and over Christmas time, I ended up getting really quite sick and I got bronchitis, and I've never had it before, and it lasted a long time. I couldn't shake it. And I really do think it was just because I worked myself into the ground. So I'm just trying, one of my focuses at the moment is to just make sure that I do take breaks and I do little things for me, because work is always still going to be there at the end of the day. But yeah, it's really, really easy to overwork yourself. So I'm sure even you would struggle with that. I'm sure anyone could really relate to that as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did the exact same thing at the end of last year. I think you just think every minute there's something I should be doing, I could be doing, and then eventually you've got to go. And I found myself that I wasn't even being efficient with that time. I was working longer, but not necessarily smarter.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, it's when you're actually recharged and refreshed, like that's when your decent work comes out. So there really is no point, if you feel like you're burning out, like the quality of work that you produce is probably not going to be as great as it is if you were, if you had a good sleep or you had a good rest. Sometimes you do just need to put it on pause and play it later. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's really important as well. And what are you working on at the moment?
I can't really say names yet because I just want to make sure it's all running through smoothly, and then we want to launch it together. I don't want her to find out that I'm releasing names and she'd be like, what are you doing? But this is like huge. I'm so excited. When I found out that this influencer on social media actually wanted to work with me because she's currently pregnant, she got back to me and sent me an email saying, hey, I would love to work with you, and is the offer still available? And I was just like complete fangirling. I was like, oh my gosh. So I fully played it cool and I was like, I'll reply tomorrow. I'm a bit busy at the moment. But oh my gosh, I went back like the next day and I'm like, yes, I'll work with you. But I'm really excited about this. And to have something like this happen has really, really motivated me all over again. It's like little things spark me off and I'm like, yes, then I take off again. So it's just about these, little moments in the business where sometimes it can start to, flatlining a little bit, just cruising, and you sort of need that little spark again to, really, really motivate you. And this is exactly what's happened. And I feel really, really excited for what's coming soon. So yeah, really, really cool time.
Oh, sounds exciting. We'll have to keep an eye out for that soon.
Yes. Oh, I think I'll be wearing the collaboration design like all the time. I'll be so proud.
Well, we've got to know you a little bit at the moment, but we just want to get to know you a little bit more with a couple of kind of less business related questions, just to get to know you and you as Tammi, not just you as the Milk Boutique.
Sure.
So what's your favorite word?
I don't know. I would have to say, this is probably a pretty standard answer from a mum, but definitely Ruby is like my favorite word. My daughter's name, and we had chosen the name Ruby well before we even knew that I was pregnant and before we even knew we were having a girl. I've just always loved that name. It's just a beautiful word, I think, and it represents a ruby diamond as well. I don't know, maybe even the word holiday is nice.
Yes, both nice.
Well, I was going to say the holidays, so yeah.
The obvious one is also the Milk Boutique, if you can count that as one word.
Yeah, TMB is one word. Yeah, definitely a favourite.
And what sound or noise do you love? I'm going to say probably something to do with Ruby is going to be in there.
Yeah, definitely like Ruby's laugh. Oh my gosh, like when she's actually cracking it laughing. When you hear a kid, not just laugh, but like they are literally like hysterically laughing. That is the best noise ever. Maybe even, I love the sound of like a storm as well, like when you're in bed and it's late at night and everyone's asleep and there's a storm going on outside and you can hear the rain, trickling down. Oh, love that. I'm giving you two answers for each one, I think. Sorry.
That's okay. You're allowed. I agree with you on that. The storm's good. It's always good to have that. Better to sleep too.
Oh, it's really nice. I love it. Even the thunder, like bring it on. I love the noise.
Yeah, as long as you're inside, not in it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, safe inside.
And what other profession, so I know you said you always want to be your own business owner, but if you weren't doing the Milk Boutique, what other profession or what other business might you start?
I'm not sure about another business. I don't think I'd have the energy to run another business, even though I have had the offer. I'm just not, definitely one business for now. But I have always wanted to be a PT. So I'm sure you can relate to that.
Yes.
Yeah, this only sparked as Milk Boutique grew as well, because obviously, like, I've been way more into my fitness than I was before. I was always into it, but like, this is like next level for me. I love it. I've just, to be able to go to the gym in the morning, work out, it just makes me a different person, like mentally. I'm so much, I think, clearer. And so it combines in with the Milk Boutique really well. So I would love to do a personal training course at some point. Maybe, I don't know if I'll actually do it, who knows, but definitely that would be another profession that I would love to do.
Yeah, so do you train every morning as well, or is that one of those things that kind of varies based on Ruby's schedule as well?
I do make time for it. I do go early in the morning, because if I don't go early in the morning, it just does not happen. So I try to go 2 or 3 times a week. Most of the time it's 2. I do try for 3, but you know what, it just doesn't happen sometimes, which is fine. But yeah, I do go out at about 5 o'clock in the morning while Ruby's still asleep and before my partner's gone to work. So that just works really well for me. I think everyone else who I try and get to come with me at that time, they're like, you're crazy. No, thank you.
No, I agree. I think that's a good time too, because then you've got that, and especially as a mum too, you've got, at least I've got this 45 minutes or an hour, however long you go for, is for yourself, and that time for you, like you said, not only to get your mindset, but just to have some time for yourself when you're a new mum too. Yeah.
And like I don't know, but when you're a mum, and there's something satisfying about everyone's still asleep. Like when I go to, I'm usually the last one to go to bed. And just to hop into bed, I said to my partner the other day, I'm like, there's something like really rewarding about just laying in bed. Everyone's fed, everyone's happy, everyone's asleep. And then I get to get up early for the nights that I haven't gone to bed late usually. And I get up before everyone else and I go to the gym and everyone's still sound asleep, and I get home and I've already done my workout. I don't know, it's just a really rewarding feeling. And sort of come out of the gym when the sun's just coming up, and it's really nice. It's hard to get into to begin with because it's obviously a shock to your body. I'm sure you would know, I'm sure you would be getting up early as well for your classes. But after a while, like, I'm sure you would agree as well. It's really nice once you get used to it. It's lovely.
Is. And I definitely agree with that too. I love getting up and being the only one up in the morning when I'm getting ready for work. It's nice and quiet. It's peaceful. The sun's coming up, like you said, and it is quite nice actually.
Yeah. I mean, you need to have a coffee.
Yeah.
It helps. But I mean, for me, I do anyway, a big coffee, and that gets me going. But it's really nice me time. I love it. It's good.
It is. I'm a tea drinker. I've got to have my tea. I might not have a chance to have breakfast before I run out of the door. That's later in the morning, but I've always got to have a cup of tea before I leave.
Yeah, and I train a lot better without any food in my belly as well. So just to have I quickly have a banana and a coffee, and that's usually me for before I train. So yeah, I'm not really too much of a breakfast person until I get back in the late morning.
And where can everybody find you? So give us, you're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter. Where can everyone find you?
Currently on Facebook and Instagram. So literally just the Milk Boutique. And then I have the website, obviously, which is themilkboutique.com.au. Maybe I'll get onto Pinterest soon. Maybe I'll start doing that as well. I'm not sure as a business page. But for now, just Instagram. Oh, and Snapchat. Sorry, forgot about Snapchat.
Yes, Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat. Although I feel like I'm more sort of going onto Insta stories a little bit more. Snapchat's had a bit of an update, and I don't know if I like it very much. So I have been using Instagram a bit more, but I am on Snapchat as well. And that's just the Milk Boutique as well. So everything's really easy to find.
And so is Instagram your favorite social media platform of choice?
Yeah. Yep. I love Instagram. Yeah. I still like Facebook, but I don't know. I feel like I connect more with more mums on Instagram. They way more DMs in there, more conversations. I just feel like everything's sort of leaning more towards Instagram these days for connection. Facebook's more like a platform where you learn lots of things, read articles, connect with your own friends, but to be able to connect with people you don't know and other businesses, definitely Instagram.
Yeah, and I think obviously with your product, it's a visual medium. You're creating a physical product, so they obviously love to see that, and that's where Instagram would kind of work best for that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's probably exactly why it works. Yeah.
Thank you, Tammi, so much for joining me today. It's been awesome having a chat to you. And I'll put all of the details for your website, Facebook, Twitter, and Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram in our show notes where everyone can find it as well.
Thank you so much for having me and for doing my very first podcast. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.